good afternoon. Welcome back. You are tuned in here to the Avani Show today on Saturday afternoon with me, your UK Soul Queen Diva. And I just want to mention, people, we are broadcasting live. Yes, live. And we are also simulcasting across Soul Divas Radio, Divas on 24, Yes Sir FM, OCT Nation Radio, So Metro Talk. Wow, there's a lot of radio stations, and that's just to name a few. And many more radio stations are being added to the broadcasting schedule. Now, just in case you just joined us, where you been, people? But yes, just to remind you, today's show topic is exploring some of the differences in the laws and legal systems between the UK and the USA. And do you think there should be more diversity in the UK, for example, in the police force and other establishments? That's the question I've been posting today for you. K-Rose, we know there's a lot of activity out there on social media. People are just going crazy with some of these articles that we're sharing today. So please keep it coming, post, comment, share, let us know what you think. At Ask Avani Show and on the Ask Avani Show Facebook group page. Wow. Yes, there's a lot going on. I have a lot to share with you. Now, K-Rose, I must share this one, link 12. Remember we just talked about some of the companies that were using this free labour from prisons? Mm-hmm. Yes. Whole Foods, expensive cheese places, the dilemma of cheap prison labour. Now, I saw that article, and I remember thinking, wow, these journalists and stuff, when they uncover things, they really are fearless they don't care. They'll just tell you exactly who's doing what. Name and shame, basically. Name and shame, people. Because I'm just like, wow. Because basically, all right, we know it's wrong for these companies to be they are abusing the prison system and abusing the prison population in getting the cheap labour. But it's a knock-on effect, though, isn't it, as well? Don't you think so? Because if people know these things, is it going to make them start to boycott these particular shops? Well, would you boycott this if you found out a particular shop that you usually frequent is supplying in this way?
I would, and I do. It's a matter of information, and many times people don't realize that your favorite place is doing this. But I mean, I'm saying that, and then I'm going back to what I mentioned earlier about electronic equipment. I mean, there is electronic equipment I personally have. And it is being manufactured by people that aren't necessarily making a lot of money. And so, I mean, am I being hypocritical? I'm asking myself that, so I have to think this through.
But sometimes you don't know until it's too late, because by the time you've purchased that product, you've got the product in it, so you won't know.
But I know now. So what am I? That's the thing.
Okay, would you stop using the product? See, that's another question. But that's the thing. You might say, well, when I bought the product, I bought it in good faith. I didn't know this was happening. So am I wrong, to keep wanting to use the product because the product I like? But okay, in future you may not buy from that particular retailer or again, you just be like, okay, well, no. If you're really that ethically minded, you might say, well, no, I'll go and get another cheaper something else. Or would you?
Well, and that's just it. I've had the opportunity to re-up. I've had the opportunity to get new models. And I've had to make the decision. This is my own thought process, is if I didn't buy this and if we all didn't buy it, would they change how they manufactured it? And my other thing is, those people, are they benefiting at all from this employment? And so my thinking, and it may be flawed, and so if someone has an opinion about it, please send a note to Soul Metro Radio, or send it to the Ask Avani Show and put in Hey K Rose or something like that. But I really think that when it's a forced labor, the whole prison setup and the prison complex, that to me is worse. And Whole Foods using that type of a setup to manufacture things is a lot worse to me than it is for those people manufacturing things at a lower rate that may be a high rate for them and their family.
Yeah.
But if they pick someone up on some little tiny drug charge and put him in jail, and then he's making things for Whole Foods, that's some boo-boo to me.
Yeah, but see, link 11, as you were talking about the prison quotas, basically, This article says the prison quotas push lawmakers to fill beds and it derails reform. But I don't understand, because I'm thinking, okay, what reform were you planning? You weren't really planning reform because you still keep doing this, isn't it? So you're saying it's like you say one thing and do something else.
Well, you mean the prisoner or the prison?
No, the prisons, the actual body, the prisons. Because it was saying the prisons quota push lawmakers to fill beds and derail reform. So what reform? Because they're not going to reform, are they? Because they're making too much money.
Well, but I think maybe my opinion, they're saying that prisons are supposed to reform the people that they incarcerate. And the prisons really aren't made to do that. And I don't think they were made to do that in the beginning. I think they were made to take people off the streets, to disrupt families, and to do what they have done, which is just create a place for, not necessarily, all of it's not cheap labor. A lot of it is, to me, breaking up families and putting a certain
that's
segment.
The worst thing out of it, isn't it?
Right.
And the parent, whoever it is, they're away for years. They completely miss their child's life. I mean, children. That's it. That generation now is finished. You can't get that back. Can't get that time back. That's why I get really annoyed when I see those stories of where they've had a man in prison for 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is. And then they say to him, oh, well, you can sue or we'll give you £1 million, but they don't want to give it to him. So he's got to fight them for it. See, he can't get back the time that he lost because you falsely imprisoned him. Then you want to make him fight you. So take you to court for money, because he's basically had no life. He's been in jail all this time when he didn't commit this crime. He's got no career because he was in jail. So there's nothing that he didn't have a business before he went to prison. So he's not rich. So he's going to suffer. Whichever way you look at it, he's buggered, isn't he, really? And you just think, oh my God. And they got to keep making him fight to get the money, to get this, to get that. So even when they leave prison, they're still having to deal with the prison system, because the prison system won't just make that reparation and say, and it will never be enough. Let's be real, people. It'll never be enough, but it'll go some way financially towards helping him to rebuild his life. But even that, they're trying to stop.
Well, you can't put a price on time.
Exactly, innit? You just think, oh my God. Link 13, Keros. People, we are sharing. Please, at Ask Avani Show, go and look at these videos and posts and let us know what you think. Post, comment, share, because I know and we are seeing that you have some interesting views on today's show topic, and it will be interesting. And there's also a debate on my Twitter page at Ask Avani Show. So please go and take the poll. Tell us what you think, because I'm curious. It'll be interesting to see the results of that, actually, because I don't know. I mean, Rose, Link 14. I had to put this in when I saw it, because I thought, okay, hold on a second. I never thought I would see the day. A politician apologizing for their part in an injustice. Okay, people, I now got your attention now. It's basically former President Bill Clinton, and he, in this article, is apologizing for his part in basically America's prison epidemic. Did you ever think you would see the day, Keros?
Well, I mean, from a political standpoint, he has to, because as we look back, in hindsight, he sees something that he did. He did it, quote, at that time, supposedly for the right reason, but it did not work, and it was a negative influence on community. So, and now his lovely wife is running for president.
Now, I know I'm cynical. Okay, just call me cynical.
It's reality.
But I'm sorry. I personally think that's the only reason he's done it. Sorry, because she will maybe, hopefully, in their eyes, stand a better chance of getting into office now under her own steam, because he's going to sort of clear the way from his past mistakes. And so people will look at her as a different beast, even though it's the Clinton dynasty yet again. If she gets in, just this time it will be her in the hot seat as opposed to him. But I don't know, when he was president, I don't know, from the outside looking in, there were times when I thought she really did a good job. She was definitely part of that political machine, shall we say, that kept him just chugging along. Because I don't know, sometimes I don't think he took all of those decisions that he made completely and solely on his own. Let me just put it like that.
No. Oh, no. I think he had people that advised him, and I think he
no, I
looked
ain't
at
talking about the
climate.
advisors. I'm talking about her.
Oh, well, I mean, even within that, I mean, we just had one of the previous president, Reagan, his wife, Nancy Reagan, died, and she was a major, major, major influence on him as a president. And so I feel that is possible. And I don't know all the details, but I'm sure that his wife had some influence on his decisions. I think some of the things that she wanted to have done, she was concentrating on them at the time more than this. But I don't think she was sitting there in cabinet meetings, but she had his ear all other times when he wasn't tripping, because he was.
Yeah, when he was. Well, there you go.
But that's just
but
part
I'm
of
curious. Did you ever think you would see that day where he actually publicly apologized?
Because politically, it needed to happen, and he was actually wrong. And my issue with anybody that's a politician. Just two things that always bother me. One, you rip somebody up and down and you talk trash about them and you talk mean of them and disheartening about them when you're running against them for an office.
Yeah.
Then when you're the person that's going to be the main person from your party, all those people that you talk trash about come behind you and say, oh, well, even though he called me a blah, 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 I'm going to support him. That's some caca to me. That is some caca. But the other part is, I believe that people should be allowed to change their decision or change their mind. But change it because you really came to a real change of heart, as opposed to it's a political change.
Well, there you go. And then they always say politicians are always telling lies, and they say one thing and they do something else. I mean, I'm just going to quickly interject one thing. I know it's a little bit off the beaten track, but hello, Ben Carson, former presidential hopeful, has suddenly just done an about turn, and now he's backing who other than our not friend, Mr. Trump.
Bing, 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 bing.
Hello. I'm sorry, if that's not a political move or maneuvering, then I don't know what is. Okay, we knew he weren't going to get nowhere because he's just too boring and he's just too quiet and he ain't really got no policies that anyone wants to hear about. This is Carson I'm talking about. But listen, Trump. Oh, he's just he's just a world on his own. But anyway, I just can't. You know I ain't able for him, KO. I just can't do it. But Link 16. Now, everyone seems to be on the Democratic side now. They're going to say, oh, yeah, Bernie Sanders. Everyone is loving Bernie Sanders. I saw an interview this morning where one of the protesters at the latest, it didn't happen. Trump was going to do a rally in Chicago. The protesters just shut him down, and he had to cancel it because there was just too much ructions going on. So they interviewed one of the guys. He actually got up on the stage and he went to the podium, and the security were trying to hold him back. So he was interviewing on Sky News. I saw him. He was calling through on Skype, and he was saying, "Yeah, I just wanted to see if what they're saying about Trump and the supporters, if it's true." And he said, yeah, it is true. They're racist and this and that. And I got hit with a bottle, and he said that, he got spat on and all this type of thing. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is the guy that they're saying could very well be your next president. I'm like, geez, unless you guys start voting, hello, it's going to be a problem. But anyway, Bernie Sanders apparently is to introduce legislation to abolish private prisons. As we go back to today's show topic, I just want to say maybe that's one of the many reasons a lot more people are starting to look at Bernie Sanders as the because they don't want the old guard, i.e. Clinton, another Clinton, and they definitely don't want crazy Trump. So, hello, who else left now?
Well, we're in a different time, and we have to have a political show. I mean, we've got to do that within the next couple of weeks. But we have to have a show on politics in America and politics in the UK and just in general. But a lot of the things that you just mentioned, there's a lot of parts and pieces to that.
There must be, because we don't get everything, but from what I'm seeing, the machinations, man, Trump's crazy. Okay, Ben Carson wasn't going to cut it. Rubio, he's sort of, he's going down that road of trying to be Trump Jr., as they say, so that ain't going to help him, no way. Oh my God, let me think. Ted Cruz, again, don't know.
All those things, that's a whole 5 shows worth of stuff. We could do a political moment.
I can't do it.
But as far as Bernie